welcome back to part 2 of this special podcast with Leeds United legend Allan Clarke.
Now, we did say that we was going to mention the 1972 FA Cup final because it was the first FA Cup final that I watched in colour TV. You beat my team, Birmingham City, thanks very much, Alan, on the 15th of April 1972, 3-0 at Hillsborough. You were playing Arsenal in the 1972 FA Cup final, which was the same as when you played in the League Cup final in 1968, and it was the same outcome, wasn't it? You won 1-0.
Gary Cooper got the winner in the League Cup in '68, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we beat them in the FA Cup 1-0, and I got the goal.
What was it like? Because it was a centenary, wasn't it? I remember as a kid we used to have little silver coins that we put in. I think it was from Esso, a little booklet. Have you any recollection of those coins?
I remember the World Cup.
Yeah, it was very similar to that, if my memory serves me right. Yeah.
I remember you get some petrol for the World Cup, and they give you like a World Cup coin, and it could be like all the squad, like yourself and Bobby Moore and Bobby Charlton and all that. Depends on what you get like. So, but I don't remember the centenary one. Yeah,
I'm sure they did, because the Queen gave Billy the cup, didn't she, in 1972? Because it was the centenary. The Queen was there.
That's what I'm saying. I played in 4 FA Cup finals, but I only ever won it once, but I won the big one, the centenary, when the Queen was there to present it to Billy Bremner. You know, the Queen. She was the guest of honour. And, you know, I can remember my first cup final, Princess Anne in '69, when I played for Leicester against Man City. Princess Anne was the guest of honour. But in '72, which is a centenary, that's the big one. That's when the Queen was there.
Yeah. And what was it like scoring that goal? Because it was a magnificent diving header. Mick Jones had gone down the right, hadn't he? He was forced. I think it was Bob McNabb that he went past. He put a tremendous cross in. And you were probably about 12 yards out, and you dived to head the ball, and it went right in the corner.
Well, how it came about, Frank McClintock and Peter Simpson were the two centre-halves for Arsenal, and how the build-up to the goal was like, I got the ball on the halfway line, about 15 yards from the touchline, and it's where the dugouts are, where the managers and the coaches sit. And I actually slipped, and Frank McClintock got the ball, and it stood on my hand, 6 studs on your hand, which gives you a bit of pain, like.
Yeah, I bet it does.
And I remember Frank playing Alan Ball, who was in the centre circle. He passed the ball to Alan Ball, and Alan Ball then tried to pass it tried to find Charlie George, who was Arsenal's main striker. And Paul Madeley intercepted the ball. He then gave the ball to Peter Lorre, who was our right winger. He's in the centre circle. Mick Jones, my striker partner, was opposite end to me. He's over on the right wing. And Peter passes it to Jonah. And I saw Billy Bremner get past me, like, and I'm in some pain here, like. But anyway, I saw Billy, and I thought, I better get in the box here. So Mick's going down the right wing, and Bob McNabb comes to confront him, and he goes past Bob, and he just crossed the ball. I actually thought a right foot volley, and I thought I fancied my chances with a right foot volley, but when it got about 10 or 15 yards from me, it started to dip, like, and I'm thinking to myself, it ain't going to reach me. So, as I say, I dived, and as soon as I headed that ball, I knew it was in the back of the net, because there's many a time I've scored goals, and before the ball's in the back of the net, I've been like half celebrating, like, whether it's come off my head, my right foot, my left foot, you know it's in, like, and I knew it was in. And obviously, it turned out to be the winner, like, and it was unbelievable. I mean, you know, from previous 3 occasions there on the losing, but to actually win it, and it was a centenary as well. It's absolutely magnificent. And so pleased for all the fans of Leeds United, because, you know, I can remember '65 watching Leeds against Liverpool, like, and they lost that one as well.
Yeah.
So it was lovely for the fans to be cheering the winners on, winning the FA Cup.
But Billy didn't pass the cup along the line to the lads today. He went round with the cup, and then you put him on your shoulders, didn't you?
That's right. Peter Lorman and I picked him up, and then all the rest of the lads turned around and joined us and made a photograph. But obviously, the striking partner, Mick Jones, was in a lot of pain, like he dislocated his shoulder.
Now, 1973, you were back to Wembley again, going for the Cup Winners' Cup, going for the league title and the FA Cup. So again, going for another treble. This time you played Sunderland, and to this day, Alan, I'll still watch that shot from, was it Peter Lorimer's shot and Jim Montgomery's save, and you still can't believe that he didn't score.
Yeah, we should have scored. I think if we'd have got that one, then we'd have got 10. But as I've always said, the best team doesn't always win the FA Cup. It's like, I know it's no cliche, but you've probably heard it yourself that says, that club's name's on the FA Cup this year. Yeah. And it's a fact, like, I mean, that proved it. I mean, they got an early goal and defended well, but all I can say, I was frustrated that afternoon. Not one chance fell to me, like, but when you look at Jim Montgomery, and he made good saves, like off Trevor Cherry and Peter Lorimer, but if one of them had gone in, we'd have won the cup. But there you are. And I can remember going up to the banquet, and Billy Bremner, who was my roommate, teammate, and what have you, and I think I was a brother he never had. Yeah. But you can imagine our wives were on the coach, and we're going up to the banquet because you don't get to Wembley every year, although it seemed that we did get to Wembley every year at Leeds United. But I'm looking through the window, and I saw Leeds United fans with the scarves on, grown-up men. These weren't kids, these were grown-up men crying their eyes out, and I said to Billy, we've let them down. We've let them down. Anyway, I remember the gaffer, we pull up outside this hotel, and he says, right, lads, these are the words of the gaffer. He says, right, lads, he says, I know you're disappointed, you've had half a good season, but he says, enjoy yourselves tonight, because you've earned it. But he says, when we report back for pre-season training, because in them days, I still call it the 4 divisions. Yep. You know, like the Premiership, Championship, League One, for me, it's still the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th division. Yep. And pre-season training, that's the hardest part of a professional footballer's season, because all the hard work you put in morning, afternoon, to get to that fitness, and they are super fit. In any era, you are super fit as a professional footballer. And we used to have 4 weeks. But he says, instead of having 4 weeks pre-season training, he says, we'll have 5 weeks and we'll sweat blood. And by Christ, did we sweat blood.
But before that pre-season, you'd still got the little fact of playing in the Cup Winners' Cup final in Greece.
Yeah, well, I didn't play in that.
No, you didn't. Neither did Billy and neither did Johnny. How come?
The reason being, we played... I'm trying to think of the semi-finalists we played against. A good team that were. We played this team in the semi-final. I can't think of it. Where is it now, Paul? Yeah. But you can look it up anyway.
Yeah.
You can look it up, but what a team they were. And we beat them 1-0, but this centre-half who was marking me, he was fouling me all night, and I'm saying to the referee, come on, I want some... I want some protection here, like, and he said, keep playing, like. So anyway, I got a goal. We 1-0 up. We were about halfway through the second half, bit further than that. We're 1-0 up. I scored the goal, and he comes in at me. So I get to my feet first, and I must have had a rush of blood. It's not like me to do this, but I had a rush of blood, and I just whacked him one. Oh, yeah. Because I was so fed up. I'd been, from the start of the game, he was fouling me. So I lost, I had this rush of blood. I whacked him one, and he weren't too happy with it. So the referee says, I'm off, and I thought, well, I'll just wait till he's had treatment, see what happens to him. And when he got up, he'd had his treatment. The referee sent him off.
Got you. Yeah.
So that proves what happened, like. So obviously, I missed the second leg.
Yep.
And then I missed the final.
Yeah.
Now the second leg, I didn't even go over. I remember listening to the second leg where it was on Radio Leeds, and Billy, they got backs to the wall. They drew 0-0.
Yep.
So that meant you're in the final, and we're playing AC Milan, and Billy got a second. Got this second booking. That meant he would miss.
Got you.
Yep. The final. So in those days, we used to have the home internationals.
Yep, remember them well.
So on the Tuesday night, as the final of the Cup Winners' Cup is on the Wednesday night in Salonika in Greece, against AC Milan. I played for England against Wales in the home internationals at Wembley.
Yep.
And Billy as captain Scotland at Hampden Park against Northern Ireland. Now, I was praying and I was listening to it in the car park at Hendon Hall where we used to stay, like with England. And if it had been a draw, we'd have flew over for the replay.
Yep.
But apparently, the lads were telling us that there again, AC Milan, when they landed, because the lads went to the airport in Salonika and saw the plane of AC Milan land, and you'll never guess who got off the plane with AC Milan. The referee.
I was going to say, I'd say the referee would be my guess.
The referee got off them.
Yeah.
And some of the tackles they were doing, it was absolutely scandalous, so they're telling us.
Yeah.
And in the end, it was, if you hadn't laughed, you'd have been crying like.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. But it was proven that it'd been got at.
Yeah.
And it was proven in the European Cup that this Frenchman, he said before the European Cup final, this will be my last match, it was proven that he was got at.
Yeah.
But there was no replays because it was Leeds United.
Yeah.
And unless you're a Leeds United fan, the rest of the world or the nation hates you. But we love that anyway. We created that because we beat everybody.
Exactly. And that's the thing, isn't it? When you have a team that's that good, it's a team that people hate because they want to beat you, and more than often they can't beat you.
Well, what really pleases me, Paul, is that I think as I've got older, because like when I was a player, when I was younger, I mean, you go on holiday with your family, and I could lie in the sun all day, like. But as you get older, half an hour, I'm thinking it's too hot, like. So every time I go with my grandkids now and on holiday, and we're all together, and I might have a bit of lie in the sun for a bit, then I get a bit fed up, and I thought I'll go and have a cup of tea or a glass of water or have a glass of wine or something. And people, elderly people, married couples will come up and they'll recognise and say, Alan, they shake my hands. I'd like to thank you for all the pleasure you gave me when you played for Leeds United in England. Yeah. He says, this is my wife. She knows nothing about football, but she can name the great Leeds United from Gary Sprague to Eddie Gray. She can name through the teams. Now, we won silverware, but we should have won a lot more. Yep. But the reason we didn't win a lot more is because it's hard enough trying to beat opposition without trying to beat match officials. Yep. And it was proven, but nobody did anything about it. No replays or nothing. And I can understand why our fans, Leeds United fans, wherever they go and watch Leeds United players and back them, what have you, and you lead it yourself, they'll go, champions of Europe, champions of Europe. Yeah, we're champions of Europe because we got done by a referee who got bought by Bayern Munich.
Yeah. definitely did. 1973-74 season with Leeds United, you went on that amazing unbeaten run, 29 games, which you was going for Burnley's record of 30.
Well, that was like when I said to you earlier about the Sunderland Cup final, where I said to Billy, I saw them, I said, we've let them down.
Yeah.
And then the gaffer says, you've had that, he says, we'll sweat blood. First match of the season, I think we were playing Everton, I think. And they had some good players. They had that Paul Harvey Kendall in midfield, Joe Ryle up front, Brian LeBron, the captain, that Gordon West, the keeper. That's some good players. And I think we were playing Everton first match of the new season. And our gaffer, 1 o'clock, team talk, 3 o'clock kick-off, Ellen Road. Right, lads, because for that decade, we were the top team, and if anybody wanted to win anything, they had to get past Leeds United. And he actually said to us, I've had a little thought during the close season. He says, I'd like you to go all through the season unbeaten. Now, when you look at the Football League then, the first division, although we were the top team, there was probably, before the season starts, there's probably 10 or 12 teams we can win this First Division Championship. Yep. You ain't getting that now in this Premiership.
No.
Because it's not a level playing field.
Yep. That's
the difference. It's not a level playing field. Money's taken over. But he says, I'd like you to go through, and then we looked at each other, and that's when we went 29 games unbeaten. I remember Bill Shankly at Liverpool. He had half decent side at Liverpool. And he was not only a rival manager with our gaffer, but he was great pals with our gaffer.
Yes, he was, yeah.
I remember Bill Shankly doing something in the paper just before Christmas. He says, if somebody doesn't hurry up and beat Leeds United, they'll have it won by Christmas.
Yeah.
So our 30th match, we're away at Stoke City at the Victoria Ground, and we actually lost 3-2.
Yeah.
So we've lost one game in 30 matches. But in them days, we played 42 league matches, where they only play 38 now, but we played 42 in our day.
Yeah.
But we'd lost one, from the start of the season, we'd lost 1 in 30. So our 31st match, the following week, we were at home to Tottenham Hotspur, Jimmy Greaves and co.
Yeah.
And you know his team talk the following week in the Players' Lounge at Allen Road, 1 o'clock. This is his team talk. Right, lads. Last week's result, to say I was disappointed would be an understatement. Now he says, I'm going to tell you lads something. If you lads can't do the business, I'm going to get the chequebook out. We went and stuffed them 6.
Yeah.
You no need to have said that to us, because that's the way they were.
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But then you had a little bit of a faltering, didn't you? Because I remember Burnley went to Ellen Road and won 4-1. And there was a couple of games, I think you went to Anfield and got beat. You actually ended up losing 4 games that season.
Yeah.
And you won the Football League Championship at Loftus Road, because Liverpool had
already won it by the time it played QPR.
Because Liverpool had got games in hand, and remarkably, I think Liverpool lost all 4 of their last games, didn't they? So by the time you'd gone to Loftus Road...
the last match was at Loftus Road, and when we ran out, we were champions anyway, before we played them, Yeah.
Now, in that period of the 70s, you changed your badge, because you used to have LUFC, and then you'd had an owl, and then you had the kind of LU smiley face.
Smiley face, yeah.
Yeah, you got the marching on together and the Leeds United football song. You also, as well, used to go on the pitch and wave to the crowd, and you had them tie-ups, the tags, didn't you, on the socks?
Yeah, a lad called Paul Trevelyan, he's a commercial artist. It was his idea to wear the tags.
Oh, was it? Blimey.
And Paul is a good friend of mine. He's a Tottenham fan.
Yeah.
But he came up and had a word with the gaffer, and it was his idea. I remember the 70 Cup final against Chelsea at Wembley. We ran out with plastic balls, blue and white balls, Leeds colours.
Right.
Threw them into the crowd. That was his idea. But these tags we wore, obviously got your number on. I was number 8. Billy was number 4. John was number 9. And we were told at the end of every match, just throw them into the crowd like to the Leeds fans. And that's what we used to do.
And
also another thing, which was his idea, which had never been done before, but it's been going on for years now, but we were the first team to do that. Les Cocker, our coach cum trainer, as they call him in them days, he was also the coach trainer with Alf Ramsey in England. Yeah. But this was Paul Trevelyan's idea, that we came out and he sort of warmed us up, like, you know what I mean, Les?
Yeah.
Now, you say Birmingham City's your team and we beat them in the semi-final at Hillsborough. I can remember Leslie's took us out.
Yeah.
And I can remember the trainer come coach at Birmingham City. They came out, but they were so disorganised. Trevor Francis was playing that game as well in that match.
Yeah.
They were so disorganised, they didn't know what they were doing, like, but ours is organised. But we're the first team to do that, where every club does it now, every team comes out. But Leeds United, through Paul Trevelyan, we were the first team to do that.
Wow. I didn't realise Paul Trevelyan had got such a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're so well in there with Leeds United. Now, the gaffer has left. England have come calling, and there's not many managers that turn the England job down. So he went off to manage England. I want to go back to 1973 after this, but Brian Howard Clough was the manager of Leeds United. Don Revie wanted Billy and Johnny Giles to take over as joint managers. The chairman obviously didn't listen. And Clough, for many, was the people's choice for England. And Brian was on Mike Yarwood, he was on Parkinson, he was on everything. He'd won the league championship in 72. There was a little bit of needle as well. Well, to say the least, there was a little bit of needle, because any chance that Brian could, he really put the boot into Leeds. So if ever there was a manager that wasn't set for Leeds United at that time, it was Brian Clough. What was it like that first day when Cloughie walked through the door at Leeds United? Well,
obviously pre-season, which, as I said earlier, is the most important part of a professional footballer's season, where you put all the hard work in.
Yeah.
But typical Brian, we'd started back a week earlier before he came.
Got you.
He was still sunning himself in Spain somewhere with his family.
Yeah.
Where you'd have thought, you know, he's coming to a new club, the importance of pre-season. But typical Brian, he weren't going to mess his holiday up with his family, and he came. We'd had a week before he came, like. But I'll tell you now, when he come through the door and introduced himself to us individually and that, and wished us all the best and what have you, he was a very nervous man. I'll tell you now, meeting us. You know, you think of the arrogance of Brian Clough and that, but he was a very nervous lad meeting us, I tell you.
Did he say that you can get all your medals and put them in a dustbin because you've cheated?
Absolutely, he said that, yeah. Yeah.
Because I would have thought that Brian would have come in there and said, look, what's been said's been said. You are the greatest team that we've ever seen in this country.
He said that after.
Yeah.
He said that after. He said it's just sour grapes.
Yeah, now if he'd have said that before, surely then he'd have got you players on side rather than winding you up and got your back up, because he said some not very nice things, and to Eddie Gray, he was very scathing, wasn't he?
He said to Eddie, he went through all of us, Paul Reaney, great player, dirty so-and-so. I'm not swearing, but you know what I'm on about.
Yeah.
Gary Cooper, great player, dirty so-and-so. Norman Hunter, great player, again through the all of us, came to Eddie Gray. Eddie Gray, he says, for how long you've been at this football club, son? He says, you should have played a lot more matches. Now, Eddie Gray used to have, like, muscle problems and cost him, you know, he didn't play a lot of matches. And that's, you know, when I hear somebody say that player's injury prone, I don't like that word. I think you're either lucky or unlucky with injuries. And Eddie was seen as a young lad, he had this muscle injury. So, I mean, Brian, when he said that, it's quite funny, really. But I think that day he found out how close we were, like, because when he said that to Eddie, he said, if you'd have been a racehorse, young man, you'd have been shot 5 years ago, which is quite funny, but, like, we didn't find it funny.
Yeah. And
I think he found out that day how close we were to each other.
Because you were literally a band of brothers, and Don Reddy.
The gaffer created that. He created a family. It was a family. And when I say family, everybody, like, who worked for the gaffer, backroom staff, coaches, like lads who went and reported, watched teams and what have you. Everybody in the administration, the secretary, it created this family atmosphere. Yeah. And we were one big family. And to be fair, we've just been given the freedom of Leeds City. Not only the players, but everybody connected with the club, at the administration side, the coaches and the family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was one big family. He created that, the gaffer.
And you can catch part 3 of this fascinating series with Allan Clarke shortly on SRBMedia.